Sorry,
Awesome.
quick picture.
No, that's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cupcake, you ready for some pizza and some donuts? Yeah? All right, let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. You guys asked some very interesting questions and I'm about to provide you guys with some answers. But before we get into it, we've got some donuts from one of our very own amazing donut shops out here in Texas. If you're in the Texas local area, definitely give these guys a try. They're called Wow Donuts and Drips, also known for their coffee too. So super amazing. Definitely check them out. Outside of that, we've got 4 different donuts here. We'll get into that in just a second. And then we've got the lovely Costco pizza. I know, super basic, but you know what? This is absolutely one of my favorite pizzas. Don't hate. But in terms of pizza, we've got we've got a little Pac-Man here. So we'll dive into that in just a second, but I'm sure all of you guys are super familiar with Costco pizza. They're nothing too fancy, but I absolutely love Costco pizza. There's just something about the squishiness in it and just the right amount of ingredients. You guys are fans of pizza. Name your top 3 toppings that you would put on pizza. And here's a big question for you, because I already know we've got a user that is not too fond of pineapple on pizza, but what's your guys' take? Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? All right, so first question. Christian Rodriguez, go-to cheat meal. That is a very tough question. Right now, I'm basically eating my go-to cheat meal. I love pizza and I love donuts. I absolutely love donuts. Fun fact about me, so back in college, I used to live next to a donut shop, and Krispy Kremes to be exact. I used to order a dozen donuts virtually every morning before walking to school or to my classes, and yeah, that was my breakfast. So a dozen donuts or so. Absolutely love donuts. Krispy Kreme, yeah, I could probably do better, but they definitely hit the spot. I don't know what the fascination is with like mukbangs or mukbangs or just watching people eat food, because I definitely have a few folks on YouTube that I watch, but there's just something kind of satisfying about it and just very eerily interesting to watch. So I don't know. But next question. So Mimi Fu asks, what got you into fitness and what's your favorite low-calorie meal or snack? So what got me into fitness? Well, I want to say I've always lived a pretty active lifestyle, so fitness kind of just came along with that territory. So I grew up playing water polo and swam quite a bit. I also played a lot of baseball. Those are probably my 3 favorite sports outside of hockey. So I grew up playing sports throughout early childhood, well on into high school and college. Played a little bit of water polo in college. And then after that, I started picking up the weights. And I think once I started seeing, some of those gains come on, I definitely got very much attracted to, bodybuilding and so forth. So hope that answers that question. What's your favorite low-calorie meal or snack? I don't know if you guys remember, but they come in these like Hostess. There's like 8 mini donuts, but those crumb donuts are just fire. They take me back to old childhood days. I remember in high school I used to binge off of those. But yeah, those probably they're like a 6-pack of Hostess donuts. They're crumb flavored. Absolutely amazing. All right, so next question. Rex Nguyen asks, how's your experience been with YouTube and managing a full-time job? Do you recommend others to try it? So right off the bat, definitely recommend anything and everything to anyone who is interested in trying something, because at the end of the day, if you're interested in, doing a specific topic or pursuing YouTube, there should be no one telling you otherwise. It's only going to be up to you to figure that out for yourself and see what you enjoy and don't enjoy. In terms of actually taking on YouTube and managing that with my current gig, it's been tough. It's been very tough. So I work a very intensive, well beyond 40-hour work week. And having to do that with YouTube has been quite strenuous, just to be quite frank. So there's certain parts of my life that definitely take a little bit of a toll, because I'm trying to build something for myself that I absolutely enjoy and love to do, or have at least grown to love and do. I have not had prior experience with YouTube, so jumping into this and giving myself a goal, I've given myself a year to see if whether or not this YouTube thing makes sense for me. So I will say it's definitely tough, but at the end of the day, if you're interested in trying something new, whether it's YouTube or picking up a new hobby or maybe even starting a business, it definitely is very scary to think about when you're taking on new challenges, but I wouldn't change it for the world, right? These types of challenges make you the person you are today, and without those, sometimes it can hinder your own personal growth and taking on new life experiences, which hence better than yesterday. 1030 Warren asks, what's your current training split? Ooh. Right now, I have been on August 753 for quite some time. Obviously during COVID, once things kicked off, it definitely took a toll in terms of my overall lifts, strength, you name it, body size. I lost a tremendous amount of weight. But with that being said, my current split right now, I've just transitioned over into a 4-day split. So I'm currently running Sunday, Monday, Tuesday will usually be either a rest day or a low intensity cardio type day. I'll go on Wednesday, and then usually it will be either Friday or Saturday lift day. And outside of that, I'll usually just have in general 3 days of rest or low intensity workouts. I'm curious actually though, what are you guys' splits? I know I've asked this in the actual full day of eating video, but I'm curious to hear more about how you guys approach your guys' weightlifting programs. What programs have you guys noticed have worked for you? For me, I've noticed over the years, especially as I'm getting older, that I'm having to kind of cut back on some of my training because I'm, one, either extremely busy and I'm not recovering enough, or two, those programs are just getting to be the point where I've been doing them for so long and I need something new. So, my boy from Canada, John, if you're listening, questions from you. What's your future goals, and is there any different series coming from you in the near future? Most definitely some new series coming out for me. I know a lot of my subscribers and the new viewers definitely have come to the channel because of the anabolic recipe reviews. I personally love cooking and really experimenting in the kitchen, and so it definitely won't go away. So you guys don't have to worry about that, but I will say that I am a huge believer in really trying to balance things out and bring a lot of diversity to my life. It really keeps me entertained, and in reflection, I hope keeps you guys entertained. So the anabolic recipe reviews definitely won't be going away, but I will be adding some more content as we continue. And that content is going to basically take the form of full day of eating type videos, possibly some challenge videos, and then also obviously going to include some more workouts. It seems like a lot of you guys are interested in seeing some of those. And then on top of that, probably different challenges like day in the life of. I find those very interesting, and especially just trying to get a small sliver or sneak peek into somebody else's life and how they live and what they consume is one thing to watch somebody do it on YouTube, but then to actually do it yourself is a whole nother experience. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm actually very interested in trying to take on some of these challenges. So for example, I asked in the community, this was probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, what types of videos would you guys be interested in seeing? David Goggins' Day in the Life, a full day of eating anabolic French toast, which by the way, that will be coming out possibly next week, so stay tuned. And then there were a couple of others. And so these types of videos I'm trying to think of, and while they may have been done by other YouTubers, they're definitely things that I find very interesting myself, and I figure, you know, if there are things that I'm passionate about or interested in, that I'm going to put more time and energy into trying to create quality content and the best experience possible for my viewers, especially you guys, right? I want you guys to be able to enjoy the types of things that I'm able to film. All right, guys. So before we get into the next one, let's go ahead and dive into a donut. These things have been freaking awesome. All right, check this out. This is a creme brulee donut. Look how beautiful that thing looks. Oh yeah, got a little bit of a hard shell on that. All right, let's do this. Let's do a little. Oh, that's money. I want to eat this whole thing, but I gotta save half for Christine. So DNA Trunks asks, I've got a two-part question. What did you do prior to YouTube? And what was something that made you pull the trigger and commit to a social media career? Love your videos and can't wait till the next upload. First off, dude, thank you so much for your support. Those words mean a ton to me. For those of you guys who watch through most of my videos and on the tail end, you'll know that I've got these messages thanking you guys, and sometimes it sounds redundant, but it really is me wanting to try and express how much gratitude I have towards you guys and sticking around for watching the content that I've got. So I really do appreciate it. Outside of that, in terms of, what did I do prior to YouTube? So first up, just to kind of clarify anything, I definitely am not a 100% YouTuber. It is not my primary job. I have a corporate gig outside of this that is way more than full-time. For those of you who don't know, I am in marketing. And what was something that made you pull the trigger and commit to a social media career? So I'm sure many of you, the story might sound very familiar, whether it's social media or not related, right? I have been toying around with getting on YouTube for almost 5 or 6 years. I've got footage of myself where I've recorded it and then just was either too gun shy to pull the trigger and put it out into the interwebs, or two, I just was not happy with what I was filming and just completely doubted myself. And it really wasn't until the end of last year that I decided, you know what, it's time that I need to make a change. This has been something that I've been having on my mind for quite some time. And if I'm going to get anywhere or even figure out that I do not like social media in terms of pursuing YouTube, then at least I'll have an answer, right? I think I definitely spent way too much time pondering back and forth of whether or not I would be good enough to put myself out on YouTube. And I'm sure a lot of you guys might have that same feeling. If you guys are looking to try something, that's why I said earlier, if you're interested in something, you got to go out and do it. It doesn't matter how afraid you are, how nervous you're going to be, how many different questions that you've got in the back of your mind. You got to go out and do it. Just get after it. And that was one of the biggest hurdles for me. I remember back in 2015, I was out in Boston, living out there. I started recording a lot of my workouts, a lot of my travel. And when I'd put everything together, I'd put together a video and then just completely, I wouldn't post it. And the main reason was purely because I just got in my own head. People aren't gonna like me. I'm not gonna be good enough. I'm not gonna be big enough. I'm not shredded enough. I can't be a subject matter expert in this field because I don't look the part that most of us see out on YouTube today, where you can hardly decipher between somebody being natty or not. Thank goodness for the doc here to kind of help clarify things. But that was the case, and so it got to a point where I just said, enough's enough. I've always been interested in this. I need to just take a step forward. So I took a leap, and here we are today. Jeff Richards, are you planning to add more fitness-related type of videos, day in the life, full day of eating? Yes. Oh, Raphael, what's going on, man? So he asks, what would be your top 3 fitness YouTubers that you watch that have helped you the most in your fitness? Right off the bat, Matt Ogus. I don't know if you guys remember Legends of Aesthetics when he was getting started. Yucky Lovato. That whole crew definitely got me into fitness and really learning more about macros, counting calories, training. And so I think that was probably around like 2013, 2014, and that's really kicked things off. And I gotta say, so within that same era, Michael Corey. The second person I'd have to say is not necessarily related to fitness, but more so just content creation, but also fitness would be Will Tenney. Definitely, in my opinion, just very well thought out in terms of content and how he approaches storytelling. Those are things that I'm working on and trying to help better craft a story, so that way as a viewer you guys are able to really kind of get a full immersive experience on how the topic of that video is being addressed. Third is probably either a tie between Christian Guzman or Mike Thurston. So something that you guys don't know is that back in the day when Christian Guzman and Mike Thurston were really getting started, so probably have to say like 2012, I actually had gone through coaching programs through both of those guys. I still have documents. I could probably find them, but I had gone through coaching programs and nutrition programs for both of them. Mike Thurston, I actually gone through coaching back in 2015 with him, and they've got a wealth of knowledge. And it's not just stuff that they're spewing out on the videos, but they definitely have a wealth of knowledge. And both of them are extremely, extremely nice. It's not a front that they're putting on. So if you haven't met either of them, they're absolutely some of the most nicest people that I've met. So you know what? I'm actually gonna throw that question back to you guys. Who are some of your most top favorite fitness YouTubers or foodie YouTubers? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. The only one Raven. Man, it's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. What's your height? So I am actually 5'8.5". Jay Romero, how do you approach negative comments and does it affect you in any way? Definitely, especially as a new YouTuber, hearing a lot of the negative comments, I think a lot of them, if they're constructive feedback, I'm definitely open to it. I personally enjoy hearing other people's feedback and thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who have provided me with feedback, as you guys listening to this, have probably noticed that I try and respond back to everyone, but for the most part, I respond back to you guys pretty quickly. And for me, keeping an open mind on what type of feedback that you guys are providing me with, I definitely keep in the back of my mind, because at the end of the day, that type of feedback, if there's one person, there's going to be a lot more, depending on if I see it, whether or not being an opportunity for me to grow personally and also help with how the content is built out and the things that are being addressed in the videos. I 100% listen to you guys. So do negative comments affect me in any way? It's one thing to hear someone say that to your face and be able to address it, but then hearing it across the computer screen is definitely a very interesting feeling. I'm very much an upfront person and like to have conversations no matter how difficult that they may be and really talk through things. So for me to hear, certain comments, I really try and brush them off. It's just a matter of having a thick skin. So the only one Raven, what's your nationality? So I am full 100% Korean. So Brianna Griggs has 4-part question. What do you do for a living? I think I answered that one earlier, but I'm in marketing. When did you start your fitness journey? So that's actually a good question. I started my fitness journey back in, I'd say probably 2013, 2014. And that's when I started kind of getting more serious about learning about fitness rather than just going to the gym and lifting weights without any real map or structure to the program. And at that same time, Matt Ogus, Ducky Lovato, like his whole crew, Legends of Aesthetics, that was all prime time for me. And that's where I kind of molded a lot of my knowledge around. Man, I can remember Gymshark had just started and they had put out their Luxe track suits. Yeah, that's crazy. So do you or did you play sports? Yep, I think I answered that one. Favorite movie of all time? Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to list this off. Probably my 3 top favorites: Sleepless in Seattle, The Godfather, and then When Harry Met Sally. I know, super softy. All right, Bar Camp 4, what's going on, man? Would you rather collab with Greg Remington or Will Tenney? That's a tough one, but I think I answered this one before. Will Tenney for sure. I just really appreciate how he crafts his content and storytelling, and also a lot of his editing. Tech Vic says, hey dude, you seem to be growing very fast on YouTube. Well deserved. Did you have any failed YouTube channels before, or is this your first one? This is definitely my first one, but I'm going to caveat that with I tried doing a food eating type of YouTube channel. By saying try, I put up 2 videos, and this was back in early 2018, and quickly took them back down because basically what I had mentioned earlier, I was just way too nervous about other people seeing them, criticizing them, and then also just really putting myself out there. And it's also kind of weird because I feel like it's kind of like dating. You like have to put yourself out there and then just take the risk of either being shit on or, you know, come out the other end winning. But in my eyes, you're always #winning. So outside of that, yes, this definitely is my first one. For those of you guys who are trying or looking into it, don't think about it too much. Just create some sort of structure or framework that works for you, and just go. Okay, before we get into that, I want to get into another donut. So let's see. We got a pretty awesome one. This is looking pretty freaking epic. So this is their pumpkin spice with a dash of ginger donut. It's seasonal. It's supposed to have a filling in there, so we'll see. Take a first bite. Cheers, guys. Holy smokes, feels like Thanksgiving. You can see that filling in there. Oh my goodness, that is delicious. All right, I gotta save the other half for Christine. I still want to finish this one though. All right, Jay Spinney. What got you into healthy eating, as well as where are you from? So right now I am from Dallas, Texas, or I guess Plano, Texas. I'm originally from California, Orange County, Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach area. To be honest, guys, I think just at the end of the day, when I was in college and I was working out, especially for water polo, I knew that I was burning a ton of calories, but then once I got out of that, my energy expenditure, total amount of calories that I was consuming definitely significantly dropped. So I noticed that when I was going to the gym, lifting weights, yes, it was a certain type of, it was definitely a different type of activity for me, and I was growing in a sense, but what I was eating and consuming was not the same as what I was eating and consuming while I was playing water polo. I could easily burn through thousands of calories when I was playing water polo, but as you know, somebody who was getting into weightlifting, bodybuilding, there was only so much food that I could eat without me worrying about putting on so much excess fat. IGL asks, what's your oldest memory of an anabolic recipe? Mine is the Protein Chef's birthday cake. The oldest memory that I've got actually is a flexible dieting lifestyle, creating his Pop-Tarts. Playboy World asks, dope vid again, but when are you uploading vlogs? So you'll definitely start to see some change in content very soon, probably within the next week and a half or so. Jake O'Neill asks, any chance you can include a day in the life videos? Yes, they're definitely coming your way. All right, before we get into the next question, let's go ahead and dive into strawberry cheesecake. A little bit of a strawberry cream on top. My stomach is smiling. I like the cream in this one better than the one that's in the creme brulee. That donut is absolutely gorgeous. I think that is my absolute favorite. Then probably the pumpkin spice and then the creme brulee. All right, and so the last question is by Christian Bennett, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and dive into this last donut here. Got some gold at the end of the rainbow. It's a pretty simple donut. There's no filling, but like that frosting, you got a little like blueberry with, I think this donut's actually like a cinnamon donut. So Christian Bennett asks a question that's kind of tied to a comment that he left on a video. So it's really more so, I think he's just kind of trying to get at, you know, what are my personal thoughts on using artificial sweeteners and how these anabolic recipes that we've been reviewing and really talking about has just really been making a lot more mainstream, you know, probably within the last year or so, like how that actually impacts my life, you know, what's my view and perspective on that whole jazz. So overall, you know, guys, I want to caution you guys with the use of artificial sweeteners, and that's just my own opinion. I think in the larger scheme of things, you know, I think that while these anabolic recipes are really great and definitely very useful for a lot of folks who are just getting into fitness and trying to understand really how nutrition plays a part in your overall health and also fitness goals, I do think that there's definitely a time and place for how often you use these recipes. And that's just my own opinion. Now, I'm not telling you guys to stop doing something or to keep doing and do 100x more of, but for me, moderation is always key, and having that gives you a fine balance of being able to really enjoy certain foods and giving yourself the right nutrients that your body needs in order to grow or achieve whatever goals that you're looking to achieve. So whether that's gaining weight or losing weight or, shredding, what have you. I know that, our good friend and Dr. Greg Doucette definitely preaches, making sure that you enjoy the foods. But for me, I think there's definitely something to be said about keeping the artificial sweeteners to a minimum. For those of you who are nutritionists or have been in the field of food science, or maybe you're in the medical field. For me, my background is chemistry and sociology. It's a combination. So I've taken a lot of chemistry classes, but also taken a lot of neuropsychology classes, and really geared towards cognitive and neuroscience related topics. So for me, I've gone through a lot of different studies and papers on how artificial sweeteners can impact certain proteins, and this might be going way overboard than you guys care to know, but there is a fair amount of research that does tie itself towards impacting certain proteins that are related to Alzheimer's disease, right? And as we get older, a lot of those things can compound. And for me, just being able to be aware of how much artificial sweeteners I consume, it's just kind of a safety measure for myself. You can't really prevent that happening, but at the end of the day, if there is just one little less thing that I can try to cut away from, the things that I consume, that really doesn't really make a huge impact in how I enjoy foods, then I'm completely fine with that. So in terms of sugar intake, I really, to be honest, in my daily life, I really keep that to a very, very big minimum. Something that I'm going to share with you, probably it's just very personal for me, and I've never really said to anybody else, is that Alzheimer's does run in my family. So whatever I can do to help try and minimize that potential from happening, you bet I'm gonna do that. So for me, while I do love donuts and spent a large amount of my college years eating donuts and bear claws, it's not something that I really play around with a whole lot. And you probably have noticed, as Christian had noticed in a lot of my most recent videos, I started cutting down the sugar intake for the artificial sweeteners. And I personally think that there's a lot of whey proteins out there that already have a tremendous amount of sweetener in them that will carry throughout the recipe, so that you don't have to use the additional amounts of artificial sweeteners that a lot of these recipes are, having in their ingredients. So, those are just my thoughts. So that's actually a pretty good segue into the announcement that I wanted to make to you guys. So I guess I can now officially call myself a very fortunate person to be able to partner up with Transparent Labs. I am very fortunate enough to be able to partner with a company that is just extremely hyper focused on really trying to provide the fitness industry, and also folks like us, the ability to have supplements that are very much so geared towards having very clean and, no pun intended, but transparent nutrition labels. And for me, that is extremely important, because it's not, this game that we play in terms of trying to be nutritious, trying to look our best, with our shirt off, flexing, whatnot, what have you. It's only a small part of our life, and in the end, our health plays a tremendous role in how we live the rest of our lives. And so for me, this is a brand that I completely stand by in terms of their overall mission and the vision of how they view on launching their products and the information that they provide us with. So I wanted to let you guys know that. And so basically from this video going forward, if you guys want to pick anything up from Transparent Labs, just smash the code Jason into the promo code for 10% off. So guys, we're going to go ahead and close this up here, but I hope you enjoyed today's Q&A session. Definitely gave me an opportunity to learn more about you guys in terms of what you guys' interests are, in terms of, what you want to hear from me. And then also gave me an opportunity to kind of open up more to you guys on a more personal level, I think. So super interesting, and I really enjoyed it. But outside of that, you know, if you guys do want to see more Q&A videos in the future, just shoot me a comment in the below, #Q&A, and we'll see if we can dive into some more deeper stuff. But with that being said, as always, stay safe, stay swole, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.